Imagine waking up on September 11th, 2001, and nothing happens. No planes crashing into the Twin Towers. No Pentagon attack. No heroes on Flight 93. No war on terror. No endless wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. How different would America and the world be if 9/11 had been stopped before it ever began? Today, we're diving into a powerful, haunting alternate history. What if 9/11 had been prevented? On that fateful morning in our real timeline, nearly 3,000 innocent lives were lost. In the aftermath, America was changed forever. But behind the horror, there were countless missed warnings. Intelligence reports, clues hidden in plain sight. In this alternate timeline, someone connects the dots. The FBI arrests the hijackers before they can act. 9/11 becomes a near miss remembered by few, and the world keeps turning, unaware of how close it came to catastrophe. Without the trauma of 9/11, there's no massive surge of fear and patriotism. No Department of Homeland Security. No color-coded terror alerts. Airports remain relaxed, with security barely stricter than it was in the 1990s. The phrase war on terror never enters the American vocabulary. Politicians focus on domestic issues, healthcare, education, technology, rather than endless overseas wars. And more importantly, a generation of young Americans never marches off to fight shadowy enemies in deserts halfway across the world. In this world, the U.S. never invades Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden remains a dangerous, but largely ignored, extremist hiding in the mountains. Saddam Hussein stays in power in Iraq, brutal but contained. Without 9/11, George W. Bush's presidency takes a very different path, focused more on tax cuts, the economy, and domestic reforms than global crusades. And imagine this. Without a messy, divisive Iraq war, the political map of America shifts. No massive anti-war protests. No deep polarization over weapons of mass destruction. Elections from 2004 onward play out in a totally different arena. Without 9/11, the U.S. doesn't launch a sprawling global war on terror. Drone strikes, black sites, torture debates, these chapters of American history may never be written. The Middle East, while still turbulent, avoids becoming the central battlefield between extremists and the West. In this timeline, millions of civilians who were displaced, injured, or killed in the aftermath of American wars survive. Entire cities, Baghdad, Fallujah, Kabul, remain scarred by history, but perhaps not obliterated by invasion and occupation. Wars cost money, trillions of dollars. Without 9/11 and the wars that followed, the U.S. government avoids plunging deeper into debt. Maybe the housing bubble still bursts in 2008. But without the added burden of massive war spending, the financial crash is softened. Recovery is faster. American infrastructure, roads, schools, technology, sees more investment instead of bombs and bullets overseas. The 2010s could have been a true American renaissance, economically and socially. Without 9/11, America's culture evolves differently. No spike in Islamophobia, no endless TV shows about terrorism and homeland security, no Patriot Act debates over privacy versus safety. The Muslim American community grows stronger, freer, and more integrated into American life. Think about art, music, movies. Without the trauma of 9/11, the national mood is less dark, less cynical. The superhero boom might not happen the same way. After all, heroes like Iron Man and Captain America symbolized America's post-9/11 thirst for justice and strength. In this world, the U.S. might have remained more optimistic, more open, less afraid. Without 9/11 reshaping American priorities, politics unfolds very differently. Barack Obama might still rise, but his path changes. His 2008 campaign, built heavily on opposition to the Iraq War, might focus instead on health care or economic reform. Meanwhile, other political figures, Those who gained prominence by supporting or opposing the wars either rise slower or never at all. The deep political divides that fractured America after years of war might heal faster, or never open as deeply in the first place. Without U.S. military intervention, global alliances shift. NATO remains more focused on Europe than the Middle East. Russia, without the excuse of U.S. actions, might not reassert itself as aggressively. China rises economically, but without U.S. distraction, perhaps faces more early pushback. And crucially, terrorist groups like ISIS, born from the chaos of Iraq, might never form at all. The bloodiest conflicts of the 2010s, the Syrian civil war, the rise of jihadist states, may unfold very differently, or not at all. So, what if 9/11 had been prevented? America would still face challenges. Extremists would still plot. History is never simple or safe. But maybe, just maybe, we would have been spared 2 decades of war, division, fear, and loss. Maybe an entire generation could have grown up with more hope than heartbreak. History hinges on moments we barely see coming. And sometimes, the most powerful what-if is the world we never knew we lost. If this alternate history made you think about how fragile our world really is, smash that like button, subscribe for more mind-bending what-if stories, and comment below. What other moments in history do you wish had gone differently? Let's reimagine the world, together,